The healing you need is the gift you give. Have you ever noticed how the universe has this funny way of making you repeat a lesson until you finally get it? Like that time you dated three different people with the same emotional unavailability, just with different faces and names? Or maybe it's the job you keep taking that looks different on paper, but somehow always leaves you feeling undervalued and burnt out. I recently had the profound privilege of interviewing Hicmatu Carmack, whose wisdom on healing journeys left me both challenged and changed. If you haven't encountered her work yet, prepare to have your perspective transformed. Hikmatu is one of those rare souls who doesn't just speak truth, she embodies it. Her insights on collective healing have sparked movements across communities, particularly for women of color seeking to break generational patterns. What struck me most about our conversation wasn't just her insights, but how she embodied the very transformation she spoke about. As Hikmatu shared, the thing you are healing is the gift you are giving. That phrase stopped me in my tracks. Let it sink in for a moment. The thing you are healing is the gift you are giving. We often think of our healing as this private, personal journey, something to be done in the quiet corners of therapy offices or journal pages, something that benefits only us. But what if our healing was never meant to be a solo expedition? What if the wounds we're tending to are actually preparing us to offer something essential to our communities? I used to think vulnerability was a liability, especially as a Black woman in spaces that weren't designed for me. Show no weakness. Never let them see you sweat. Keep that titanium cape fastened tight. And let's be honest, how many of us are walking around with that cape flapping behind us, pretending we're invincible when we're actually exhausted? But that approach has a shelf life, doesn't it? Eventually, the weight of that cape starts to crush the very shoulders it was meant to protect. And then what? We break down, burn out, or become so armored that nothing, not even joy, can penetrate. During our conversation, Hikmatu Karmak emphasized something revolutionary. Our healing journey operates on divine timing. Those patterns that keep showing up, they're not punishment, they're not even failure. They're opportunities wrapped in grace, appearing again and again until we're finally ready to unwrap them. It's like the universe saying, I'm going to keep sending you this lesson, packaged differently each time until you finally open it. And sometimes we need to receive the same package 15 times before we're ready to see what's inside. Let me tell you about Dr. Joy Harden Bradford, founder of Therapy for Black Girls. Here was a trained psychologist who recognized the gaping hole in mental health care. Black women weren't seeing themselves represented in therapy spaces. The stigma was thick, the barriers were high, the cultural competence was, well, let's just say lacking. But Dr. Bradford didn't just notice the problem, she had lived it. And instead of waiting for someone else to create the solution, she built a platform connecting Black women with therapists who understood their unique experiences. Today, thousands of women have found healing through her network. Her podcast normalized conversation that were once whispered about if discussed at all. What's fascinating about Dr. Bradford's story isn't just what she built, it's that her own healing journey became a bridge for others. The very gaps she identified in her professional practice were the same ones she felt personally. And in addressing them, she created ripples that touched lives far beyond her immediate reach. That's what Hikmatu means when she says the thing you're healing becomes your gift. Your wound, once tended to, transforms into wisdom. Your struggle, once embraced, becomes strength that others can lean in on. But here's where it gets tricky. We live in a culture obsessed with productivity and performance. Rest, that's for the weak. Vulnerability, save it for your diary. Healing, do it on your own time, preferably without inconveniencing anyone else. This is exactly what Tricia Hersey, founder of the NAP ministry, pushes back against. When I learned about her work during my research after speaking with Hicmatu, I was fascinated. Hersey created what she calls a social justice movement centered on something radical: napping, yes, napping, for Black bodies especially, bodies descended from those who were literally denied rest during slavery, bodies still carrying the weight of generational trauma around productivity. Rest isn't just nice, it's revolutionary. It's resistance. Hersey hosts public nap events. She leads workshops. She's given TED Talks about the power of rest. And in doing so, she's helping people reclaim something sacred that was stolen from them. What's beautiful about the nap ministry is how Hersey connects rest to divine grace. This isn't just about catching up on sleep, it's about recognizing your inherent worth beyond what you produce. It's about trusting that you are held in grace, even when, especially when you're not doing anything at all. This is the kind of healing that becomes a gift. Hersey's own burnout and exhaustion led her to create spaces where others could find permission to rest. Her healing journey opened doors for collective liberation. And isn't that what we're all seeking? Not just personal wellness, but community wholeness. Rachel Cargill understood this when she founded the Loveland Foundation. After hearing countless Black women express their need for therapy but face financial barriers to accessing it, she didn't just sympathize, she mobilized. The Loveland Foundation provides therapy vouchers specifically for Black women and girls. As of 2023, they have funded over 10,000 hours of free therapy sessions nationwide. 10,000 hours of healing that might not have happened otherwise. What strikes me about Cargill's work is how she transformed her own healing journey into tangible support for others. She recognized that what she had struggled with herself was echoed by many others in her community. And rather than simply saying, I got mine, you get yours, she created pathways for collective healing. This is what Hicmatu Carmack emphasized in our interview. Healing isn't just personal, it's communal, it's ancestral. When you heal, you're not just doing it for yourself, you're doing it for everyone connected to you, past and future. But let's be real, healing isn't pretty. It's not an Instagram worthy journey with perfect lighting and inspirational quotes. It's messy, it's repetitive, it's frustrating. Sometimes it feels like you're moving backward instead of forward. That's where divine timing comes in. Hikmatu spoke about this with such conviction that I felt it in my bones. Those patterns that keep showing up in your life, they're not there to torture you, they're there to teach you. And they'll keep appearing until you're ready to receive the lesson. Maybe it's the same relationship dynamic playing out with different partners. Maybe it's the same workplace drama with different colleagues. Maybe it's the same health issues manifesting in different symptoms. Whatever it is, Hikmatu reminds us that nothing is wasted, nothing is accidental. Everything is operating under a grace that's bigger than our understanding. This doesn't mean we passively accept harmful situations. Not at all. It means we approach our healing with patience and trust, knowing that divine timing is at work even when we can't see the full picture. And here's where vulnerability enters the conversation because healing requires honesty. It requires us to look at ourselves, really look, and acknowledge both our wounds and our power. Sharing your story boldly isn't about trauma dumping or oversharing. It's about strategic vulnerability. It's about knowing when and how to share your journey in ways that might illuminate the path for someone else. When Dr. Bradford created her podcast, she wasn't just providing information, she was normalizing conversations that had been shrouded in shame. When Hersey hosts public nap events, she's not just giving people a chance to sleep, she's creating visible permission for rest in a culture that devalues it. When Cargill funds therapy sessions, she's not just paying bills, she's saying loudly that Black women's mental health matters. These are acts of bold storytelling. They're ways of saying, this was my struggle. This was my healing. This might be your path too. And that's the invitation Hicmatu Carmack extends to all of us. What are you healing right now? What lessons keep appearing in your life? What wounds are you tending to? Because whatever they are, they're not just for you. They're preparing you to offer something essential to your community. So I leave you with this challenge. Identify one thing you're currently healing in your life, something that keeps showing up, demanding your attention. Now, instead of seeing it as just your personal burden, imagine it as preparation for your unique contribution to the world. What if that anxiety you're working through is actually teaching you how to create calm space for others? What if that grief you're processing is preparing you to be a compassionate presence for someone else's loss? What if your journey through racial trauma is equipping you to build bridges of understanding that no one else can build? The world doesn't need more people pretending to have it all together. It needs more people brave enough to admit their works in progress and generous enough to share what they're learning along the way. Your healing isn't just about you, it's about all of us. When you heal, you create possibilities that didn't exist before. You open doors that were previously locked. You become a living testament to what's possible. So tend to your wounds with the reverence they deserve, knowing that as you heal, you're crafting the very gift this world needs from you. Trust the divine timing of your journey. Embrace the grace that holds you even when you stumble. And when the moment is right, share your story boldly because someone out there is waiting to hear exactly what you've learned. Remember what Hicmatu Carmack taught us? The thing you are healing is the gift you are giving. Now go give your gift to the world. We're waiting for it. We need it more than you could possibly know.